Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. The method to our madness. I'm starting to realize, matter of fact, lately been catching a strong download to just talk to people about being authentic, but more so about our uniqueness, and just how really unique we all are. Because I think a lot of us still don't realize how unique we all are. We got this idea, subconscious program, thinking like, only persons that stars is the people I see on TV, and I could never be that, or just got this mind frame where you just feel like you're not here to be uniquely different or have this type of unique change that you're bringing forth. But it's time to realize again, you have a certain method to your madness for a reason. Using of course, we're not mad but with that terminology, again, like we have a certain way of doing things. We are unique, uniquely different for a reason. Like when a person, we all, like, even down to, again, like the different, of course we want to be that number 13, that like that Ophiuchus energy or that Christ energy, because the 12 zodiac signs are like the 12 apostles or 12 disciples or 12 disciplines. We want to break out of those 12 disciplines, and become that number 13, or at least I should say not allowing ourselves to be restricted or held down by those 12 disciplines. But we are going through those 12 quote-unquote disciplines for a reason, but like with all of us having unique astrology readings, and or should I say unique energies. I'll try and find a word for it, but a certain person born in Capricorn, certain person born with Aries, Taurus, but that's just their sun sign. They got a moon sign, they got an ascendant sign, you got north node, this node, and like different astrologies, that's the whole different thing too. Like, think about it like this: all energy does something, like every star in the sky, has a unique energy to it, otherwise it wouldn't be represented, it wouldn't have formed into a consciousness in essence, because the star is like a conscious body of light. And matter of fact, shout out to the brethren Archangel Uriel, flight boss, for speaking on how, because I don't know if he said it like this, but I think about like the stars could be like little whirlpools, and also like torus fields, or like a black hole, that's sucking in energy, or like a torus field, just like we have a torus field and we consider light, and like as all that energy, that magnetism pulling things in the middle of that torus field is kind of giving off a light in essence that we call a star, but again, it's really like a little whirlpool. And when you go into that whirlpool, it's like going into that dimension. You go into the torus field and then you be inside of that plane of existence, But again, not getting besides the fact, we all are, unique, and like I think about, like, to help me remember and remind myself that, hey, the path you walk in essence, and that you chose for yourself, is so unique that you're gonna always find yourself looking up and feeling like you're probably doing something outlandish, or out the box, quote unquote, or like against something that society would deem crazy, or things of that nature. And another thing with our uniqueness, always remembering being unique but having a certain a certain level of rationality about it. We don't want to make ourselves look like we're just extremely crazy in the sense of, just not really making sense in that sense, like as much as we are a part of chaotic energy, we also have, again, a balance, but we also work with logic. But again, we are, excuse me, extremely unique. And I think about like a James Brown, like, whenever he was just like, ha, like making music with just grunting, without any lyrics, I'm pretty sure at certain points he was like, man, I wonder if this going, in which we all different, because seeing that the man, that he pushed through with it, again, we always had this feeling, this underlying feeling of knowing, like, even though this shit seemed crazy, like James Brown, even though I'm grunting and doing that, like, like he knew that he was working with something that was gonna change the game. And as much as people was gonna ridicule him at the beginning and stuff like that, that eventually it was gonna work out. And that's what a lot of us dealing with right now. We come down here to be very unique, so unique that we think we're being crazy when we're being our unique selves, But it's more so because, again, now that we're pulling away from our ego is trying its best to really make you, be fearful and scared of being you're stepping into being your greatest version and, and ascending. So right now, just like with anything, like when you really about to pull away, that whatever's trying to hold you down is really gonna make that last little strong ass swing to, keep you here, in essence. And that's what we dealing with, in essence. Like, I see myself, like, with my diet and stuff like that, where I'm like, I feel the energy that's promoting and helping me, but then every now and then, like, that ego swing that bat back and get a nice good ass swing on me and bow, and again, as I'm saying that, realizing it's a part of growth and not get mad at myself, that's another aspect too, realizing like, hey, we came, this is part of the contract, it was gonna be this difficult to a certain extent, and we could either be bored just chilling, source by itself, just all one consciousness, by itself, or we could be on this experience, experiencing different contrasts, like coming across shit that allows for us to appreciate, things that smell good, dealing with, certain situations, like dealing with the pressure that makes diamonds, but we have our own, again, unique vibrational signature. Matter of fact, if you go look up universal frequencies, vibrational signature, I have a video where I spoke on that, like we all have a certain little level of uniqueness, because again, that's where that new age movement vibe, may try to throw things off with that everything is one vibe. Of course everything is one, but we realize now is the vibrate, it's all about right now. And of course all is one, but I know source don't fuck up, and I'm in a bodysuit right now. And when I say I know source don't fuck up, yeah, of course source doesn't, quote unquote, had some of their trials and errors, let's get that really, really understood, on a real level. I'm not gonna just say any shit just to say some shit. Of course, because again, we going through what source done did, like we, as above, so below, what done happened, on some level in the past, we kind of in going through it and replaying it right now, in essence, too. So, of course, again, Source had some trial and error moments, but again, which I forgot what I was connecting that with, but just getting back to, again, it's about us being very unique and realizing so unique that it almost seems scary. You know, so unique that it's like, nah, I just seem like I'm just gonna be out there, or seem like I'm gonna be outlandish. You know, again, think about like how, you know, outlandish, you know, certain people had to be, like, you know, like say for instance and not all spiritual information that's out now, but yeah, but you know, certain spiritual literature that people writing about, especially like say for instance dealing with the paranormal, like ghost stories, stuff like that, where people, you know they like they knew for a fact, like, you know, and then picture like writing about stuff like this in the 60s, 70s, like when people really wasn't getting it, but you know, those souls, you know, were brave enough to realize their mission here on this planet. You know, like, well, fuck it if they gonna think I'm crazy. Like, this is the energy I connect with. You know, I talk to ghosts, and this is my stories, and I'm gonna share them. You know what I'm saying? And even though people might not realize it right now, they gonna love the information and cherish the information later when they really get it. You know, that's another thing too. We laying down a blueprint of situations and information and things that, you know, in essence, is gonna be grasped by some, you know, in this times. But we unboxing shit that's gonna take, years for people to grasp and understand. You know, it's some things that, you know, even I with myself, like that I speak on, that I know I'm kind of just channeling some information that I fully haven't, broke down and grasped. You know, information, you know, unboxed from DMT trips, you know, going in my internal universe, you know, that still haven't been, you know, fully conceptualized and intellectualized by my consciousness, you know what I'm saying? Like, but again, like, you know, the person who created the air conditioner, you know, had to be like, fuck it. You know, they might think that a box that spit out cold air crazy, but I know this shit gonna work, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might think the moonwalk crazy, but I know this shit gonna work. You know, they might think that reggae music shouldn't go mainstream, but I know I got a mission, you know, to deal with. Even though my brethren and sister might not agree with my position, you know I got a bigger mission. You know, again, like check out my video where I speak about Paramahansa and Michael Jackson, Paramahansa Yogananda and Michael Jackson. But like, where I talk about like how whether Michael Jackson realized it or not, you know, with him bleaching his skin, I'm like, whether from a human aspect or from a soulful level, but I'm like, regardless, it was a soul mission of, you know, it wasn't no human shit. Like, it was him, you know, doing something that was allowing for him to appeal to the masses, you know. Of course, from a human 3D perspective, it's like, oh yeah, Michael Jackson got trauma and this and that, and that's why he bleached his skin. He don't like his black self. Yeah, that's the 3D story of that. The on the higher dimensional level, you know, his higher self was having him do that so he could, you know, deal with his mission. You know, because matter of fact, Michael Jackson is one of the closest things to the Christ energy, and it, like, you know, like, even down to like the crucifixion vibe too, like, you know, them trying to crucify him with that bullshit with him touching kids and shit like that. But going through all that, because I think about Freddie Gibbs, the rapper, who talked about when Michael Jackson went back to Gary, Indiana, and how like some of the most gangsters, you know, cats from the hood, you know, crying and, you know, down there passing out, you know. And as much as I'm laughing and joking about that, like, you realize, like, you know, like, that's the Christ energy. You know, like the way somebody feel about Bob Marley and Tupac, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's that energy, but you gotta be unique. You gotta stand in your uniqueness and know not to give a fuck what others think, and that what my soul is asking me to deal with and do, you know, this is what I should be dealing with and doing, you know. Because again, Michael Jackson bleaching his skin was on a soul mission, you know. Like, the soul was getting him to do things that was gonna allow for him to appeal to the masses on such a level and get that green light from, you know, these people who like to oppress and run things, you know. they're definitely like, oh, a black man that doesn't like, because even in their eyes, a black man that don't like himself and bleaching his skin, oh yeah, we definitely want to give him the stage, we definitely allow for that person to be, you know what I'm saying? But then not knowing that shit, that's so that's so, again, check out my video too about God or Source and MK Ultra, but like how, again, as above, so below, just like the government had these certain little programs and secret societies. In essence, that's how the hierarchy on the spiritual, soulful level work, And some of us on this soul mission, waiting for that little MK Ultra command from Source, where we just snap into that mode, doing what we really got to do, But again, just realizing our uniqueness, because I know why I'm doing this video. This video right now is like, what I'm doing right now is almost the equivalent to activating DNA, because as above, so below, we like parts of a body, and some of us, quote unquote, light beings, star seeds, we are like little parts of the DNA, or the part of the body, that deals with DNA and activation, and me speaking this. As a matter of fact, as I'm saying the MK Ultra thing and the DNA, it's like, this message, like after somebody listens to this should be like the MK Ultra message from Source, because again, I'm a vessel, a vessel for messages and energies to pass through. Of course, to some extent, I have a individual, unique vibration that my soul brings to the table. But for the most part, a part of my uniqueness is allowing for these messages to pass through, and again, I know this is that MK Ultra message to, somebody out there right now, listening and dealing with that vibe of like knowing how unique they are, knowing like, like I think about, say for instance, when I got my tarot cards and I got the download to create, like to not even look at the old format of the way they do the readings, but to create my own, and not necessarily create my own like in that essence, but again, being an open channel for higher self. Because again, too, like when we are open channel, that ain't necessarily us just like being just a vessel in that essence, like a just dry vessel, because we are a vessel for our higher self, you know what I'm saying, for our inner source, you know what I'm saying. But dealing with the tarot cards and me creating the feng shui format, but that was a download from high self, like like, hey, this is a format to use right now that would be pretty accurate, as you learn how to deal with it better, and I say learn how to deal with it, more so learn how to read it, read the cards a little better and read it out of that format. But again, it's a lot of us got information that ain't, that in this lifetime nobody has seen, relevant information that would change lives and change the whole, again, we like in a body, and in order for the things to change in this body, we got to bring in that information, that light for things to change within this body, because light, Lucifer the light bearer, that's information, like, because Anki was seen as Lucifer, because Anki was the one whispering into the little humanoid's ear about, like, hey, you should be enjoying life, or you could have sex, and he was seen as the light bearer, but that knowledge, that information, again, stepping into our uniqueness, because again, a lot of us have a unique message to bring through. And as I'm doing this video, I'm speaking to myself, because I be dealing with this same energy. That's why I'm, doing the video, because I've watched it, for myself, where it's like, catching myself of like holding myself back, thinking I'm being too, outlandish. And again, like with being our unique self, of course we want to be unique, but like how I say, unique with tactfulness, like with tact. We're not just trying to be all crazy to where nobody, to where you don't have any how can I say, not necessarily accountability, but you know, people can't say like, all right, oh, I could, like, you know how a person could be like, oh yeah, I could trust what universal frequency speaking, because he's always, uh, connecting with the information in such a way, like compared to like say where you just being so here and there and everywhere, like, like, because sometimes we may take being unique, and again, that sometimes, and two, that may be slipping into the ego, or being unique may be seen as, oh, let me just be doing something different from society just because it's different. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It should be, it'll be different in essence, but more so you being your unique self and not just doing any old shit just to be, hey, I'm crazy and different. Nah. Again, it's like being unique, but not to a point of seeming like you're somebody that's, untrustable or untrustworthy when speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not creating that type of vibe, but again, all the inventors, all the people who, Ashe, I mean, not Ashe, well, Ashe to, the ancestors who transitioned, led the way on that level, much blessings and love. May they be able to, move on fluently on their soulful paths, outside of their bodysuit. But like, I think about like a Phil Valentine and Bobby Hemmett, who was, talking about this type of stuff early 90s, and talking about it on such a level where like, like, I know that this metaphysical shit exists. Like, I know I was talking to Oshun last night, you know what I'm saying? Like, and realizing how much of a pioneer, you have to, like, how much you have to step into your spirit, into our soul, to really, be able to deliver messages on that level when, the people around it. Because, two, I'm pretty sure if for those of you who sensitive to energy, you know how it feels when you're around a bunch of people who doubt certain information that is true. But when you're around them, like, it almost make you doubt the information, you know what I'm saying? So we be having to be really strong in our spirit and in our uniqueness, when delivering information, or, just doing what we do, it takes that strength. And that's what, too, like the message of, like, lately about, like, being a little healthier, or just, again, bringing in that light, being our greatest versions, because again, it's not no health thing or whatever, but it's not just about health, but it does help for us to be a clearer channel. The healthier we are, and the more dirtier we're eating, the more power we're giving to the ego to create, a certain type of negativity and pessimism and stress, because the fact that certain foods may cause a release of cortisol and, creating certain stress, within the body, But at the same time, too, again, as I'm saying that, look, spirit, let me know. But the somewhat chaotic, the little divine chaotic manner of our growth may ask us to eat some things that may seem unorthodox, But again, just trust your intuition, go with the flow of, higher self. And with that being said, that's why, too, people may see why, no matter what I'm doing a video on, as much as I can, I try to bring up the fact of strengthening your own inner guidance, to the point where, again, listening to information, you could be able to have your own discernment within, instead of having to depend solely, or mostly on, solely, that's why I use that word, to depend solely, almost like in essence giving your soul away, to other, things. It's all right to learn from, books and other people, again, but we have a unique vibrational signature. We do things different. You looking for, like, say for instance, sometimes, again, it'll be helpful to learn, like, to let me see what so-and-so say about how to deal with depression. Like, say for instance, it's good to see different aspects of that, but you got to keep in mind when you listening, you got to have a discernment to realize, so-and-so is also Aquarius, let's say, for example. So-and-so, got all these different energies. So-and-so live in a different place, so and so had a different upbringing. You know, again, like it's certain factors where, of course, you should, again, like listening with open-mindedness and realizing that, you know, again, that when all of us are speaking, at the end of the day, in some way, form, or fashion, it's gonna have, you know, our uniqueness to the message in essence, you know. So that's why, you know, realizing again, like what so and so might say, oh yeah, you know, you should color in a coloring book when you get depressed. You know, that may be something that's helpful, but say for instance, but you are a person where when you color or deal with a coloring book, that might bring you more into depression because it make you remember somebody who gave you a coloring book and make you more sad. You know, like it again, it's dealing with our own uniqueness. You know, like one person might need to take a nap, another person might need to go shoot some basketball, another person might need to draw a picture, another person might need to play with some tarot cards or hold a crystal. You know, again, it's different strokes for different folks. You know, and just back to the full circle, 360 degrees back around, the full 360 degrees, not just 1 degree, putting a black Saturn hat on your head and giving you 1 degree of knowledge. You know, it's the full circle. You know, blessings to those who, you know, and let's just say it like this, not knocking anybody who goes to school, but that's the name of the game of how they playing the game with it. You know, they giving 1 degree of knowledge. Here it is where you spend most of like your life going to school, and not one time they tell you about the law of attraction, how your subconscious work, about your chakras, about how crystals could really help you, about the placebo effect, about how our mind controls matter. You know, it's like they give you all that schooling and you miss out on all of the real, like the shit that really matters to your soul. You know, but yet you're smart, you got your degree. But, you know, again, that full circle of knowledge. So again, just, you know, being our unique selves, you know, it's very important right now to not be scared to step into that uniqueness, realizing that it's gonna seem very fucking strange, excuse my diction. It's gonna, you know, it's like, damn, you know, like, you know how many like 1,000 videos, and you would think like that, oh yeah, like he must have felt, you know, good about every video he made. Like, man, you know how many videos that I thought like, bruh, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but again, it was more so coming from my ego, you know, realizing, but again, like how many videos where I felt like this shit might be too outlandish or too crazy, but Spirit was like, nah, fuck that, it has a reason for right now. You know, to hell with the scariness of your egoic mind. You know, it's bigger than that. You know, it's bigger than the scariness of my egoic mind. You know, like as a little kid, not realizing, you know, it was bigger than me just not caring about being the master of ceremonies for program. You know, because as a little kid, you know, I couldn't stand being the master of ceremonies for these programs, but, you know, now on a soulful level, I get it, and I see that whole dynamic where that was just like my egoic mind and just my, you know, just that lower vibratory negative part of me that's just like didn't want to be my greatest version. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I can't stand this, but not realizing that that's my gift. Speaking in front of people and speaking to people, you know what I'm saying? But let my ego tell it, you know, there's something to be scared of, and no, I don't want to do that, you know what I'm saying? And again, a lot of us dealing with this energy right now heavily, and also like too, just dealing with being purged of our, you know, our like little secret egotistical, you know, right now, that's why a lot of us going through shit and we feel like we shouldn't be, in essence, like in your mind you feel like, but damn, I've been, you know, meditate, I've been on my spiritual path for a night, I've been on my spiritual path for a nice little minute. You know, why I'm going through shit that almost seem like the dark night or so? And because it's still parts of us where we might still not fully understand. Like, matter of fact, like it might be still some little new age teachings that the ego still hiding within, you know what I'm saying? Like that may be hindering the spiritual growth, but like we still don't really see it all the way, so spirit, bringing it up to the forefront, having us go through shit for us to really see like, hey, this needs to be fixed, and if I you know you wouldn't be seeing this if I like, say for instance, you're seeing it out of love, like we going, pressure makes a diamond. So it takes pressure to make that beautiful diamond, That's a lot of attention to go, source that takes a lot of source focus to pressurize something so much to make it one of the hardest minerals on the planet, known to us, one of the hardest minerals on the planet. That takes a lot of source focus, and a lot of love in essence, Not saying essence, but it is, again, we dealing with the contrast in order to become our greatest version, But that's definitely the message for right now, and I'm not gonna make this video any longer than it needs to be. But just remember, y'all, again, like being our greatest version sometimes it does look scary, and like again, like the great old ones returning, our primordial God selves, and all this conditioning that our subconscious mind been, under lifetimes, not just in this lifetime, but multiple lifetimes of conditioning and being more human and forgetting who and what we truly are, So of course it's gonna seem like being that authentic and unique, and dealing with our soul purpose is gonna feel like it's that outlandish, but it's not. Just know and trust the process. Right now we're being asked to trust the process. The angel number 777 showed up. We're going through that 1212 portal right now. I'll probably do a separate video on that. Because the 12, 2 + 1, the 3, the communication, dealing with creating and communication, but being the creators that we came down here to be, and connecting with our higher self and ancestors, That's why that 777 showed up on the asking question vibe, and how, like, indirectly, not only asking questions, but also dealing with the serpent energy of the Dracos, because like realizing that, again, there's so much layers to our existence, with the different star families, again, that's part of the reptilians that that are malicious in essence, but that's not all, and we have some of that DNA within us, again, and that goes back to my video about the Lyrans, with the Lyrans, and talking about like what a little beef with the reptilians was, that some of them chose to try to come down here and kind of mess with, how I say, where certain families, star families, were allowed to have a certain amount of time, cultivating, or should I say, dealing with DNA and creating different humanoids. But like, in so many words, one set of the star beings, or one set of, or how I say, part of a family of star beings felt like, oh man, let's go take it into our own hands. Let's go, tamper with this energy ourselves, But I digress. That's for another time. But again, just remember to, step into that uniqueness. Now is the vibrate. But peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate. Of course, not going too far in the future. We might peek into the future. We're not going too far in the past. We might use the past when it's relevant to right now. But now is the vibrate.